In Seabrook, a small coastal town cradled by rocky cliffs and rolling waves, life revolved around the rhythm of the sea. Fishing boats bobbed in the harbor, their nets laden with the ocean's bounty. The local cafe served steaming cups of coffee to fishermen after long nights at sea, and children chased each other barefoot across the sand. To many in the town, the ocean was an ordinary part of daily life, a provider and a constant companion. But for Sara, it was anything but ordinary. From her earliest days, Sara felt the sea calling her. She would wander the tide pools for hours, captivated by their miniature worlds. Crabs darted between rocks, starfish clung to mossy surfaces, and shimmering fish flickered like sunlight trapped underwater. To Sara, the tide pools weren't just places to play, they were windows into an infinite, unseen universe. Her notebook quickly became her constant companion. She filled its pages with sketches of shells and sea creatures, scribbling notes about their movements, colors, and shapes. She imagined herself exploring deeper into the mysteries of the ocean, not just as a visitor but as someone who could learn its secrets and protect its fragile beauty. "You'll have salt water running through your veins if you're not careful," her father teased one evening as she sat on the porch with her notebook, staring at the sunset over the water. Her father, Robert, ran the family's cafe and saw the ocean as a familiar backdrop to their lives. To Sara, it was the horizon of her dreams. "Maybe I already do," Sara said, grinning. "And one day, I'll study the ocean and help save it." Her father chuckled, though a flicker of concern crossed his face. "You've got big dreams, sweetheart. Just make sure you're ready for the waves they'll bring." As Sara grew older, her fascination with the ocean turned into a clear ambition to become a marine biologist. But in Seabrook, dreams like hers felt almost alien. Most residents followed the paths carved by their families, becoming fishermen, shopkeepers, or teachers. Sara's aspirations to dive deep into the scientific world felt, to many, like an impossible leap. Her parents, though supportive, couldn't help but voice their concerns. The cafe was struggling to stay afloat, and the thought of sending Sara to university seemed like a daunting financial burden. "Marine biology is a noble field," her mother Lila said one evening as they cleaned tables after closing. "But it's expensive, and it's competitive. We just want you to have a secure future," her father added gently. "You've got so much potential, Sara. You could stay here, help us with the cafe. You'd still be near the ocean." Sara appreciated their love and concern, but the thought of staying in Seabrook while her dreams slipped away felt unbearable. She retreated to her notebook that night, sketching coral reefs in intricate detail as tears threatened to fall. "I can't give up," she whispered to herself. "The ocean is waiting for me." At school, her ambitions drew ridicule from her peers. "You're going to study fish?" one boy mocked during lunch. "Good luck paying the bills with that." Though their words hurt, Sara channeled her frustration into her studies. She spent every free moment at the library, devouring books about marine ecosystems, conservation, and oceanography. Margaret, the elderly librarian, quickly noticed Sara's dedication and became one of her most vocal supporters. "You have something special, Sara," Margaret said one afternoon, sliding a book on coral reefs across the counter. "Don't let anyone convince you otherwise." One summer, Sara joined a beach cleanup organized by a local environmental group. She loved working to protect the coastline she cherished so deeply. As she carefully removed debris tangled in seaweed, she noticed a man watching her from a distance. He carried a clipboard and had a curious glint in his eyes. "You've got an eye for detail," he said as he approached. "Most people wouldn't take the time to free that crab." Sara introduced herself shyly, explaining her passion for the ocean and her self-taught knowledge. The man was Dr. Karim, a marine biologist studying coral reef health along the coast. Sara could hardly contain her excitement. There was someone living the life she dreamed of. Dr. Karim listened attentively as Sara shared her story, the long hours spent reading at the library, the sketches filling her notebooks, and the challenges of growing up in a small town with few opportunities. "You remind me of myself when I was your age," Dr. Karim said, his voice kind. Passion is the most important part of this work, but passion needs opportunity. Have you thought about applying for scholarships? When Sara admitted she hadn't, Dr. Kareem handed her a card with information about a national scholarship program for aspiring environmental scientists. It's competitive, he said, but I believe in you. Take the leap. The scholarship application became Sara's lifeline. Every evening after her shift at the cafe, she sat at her desk, pouring her heart into her essays. She wrote about her life in Seabrook, her connection to the ocean, and her vision for a future where marine ecosystems thrived. She included her sketches, hoping they would convey her dedication and potential. But the process wasn't easy. Late at night, self-doubt crept in. What if I'm not good enough? She thought. What if someone else deserves this more? Margaret's words echoed in her mind. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. Dr. Karim's encouragement reminded her to believe in herself. She thought of the ocean's resilience, its ability to endure storms and nurture life. If the ocean could persist, so could she. Weeks later, the email arrived. Sara's hands trembled as she clicked it open. Congratulations, Sara, it read. She had been awarded the scholarship. Overwhelmed with joy, she ran to tell her parents, tears streaming down her face. Her father embraced her tightly, his voice thick with pride. You've done it, sweetheart. You've shown us what's possible. University was a whirlwind of new experiences for Sara. The campus buzzed with energy, filled with students from all walks of life chasing ambitious dreams. For the first time, she was surrounded by people who shared her passion for science and exploration, but the transition wasn't without its challenges. Her classmates, many of whom came from prestigious schools, seemed effortlessly confident. Sara, who had learned everything on her own, often felt like she was playing catch-up. What if I don't belong here? She wondered during moments of self-doubt. Still, she refused to let fear define her. She sought help from her professors, who mentored her with care and encouraged her to embrace her unique perspective. She joined study groups, forging friendships with classmates who supported her. Slowly but surely, she began to thrive. In her second year, Sara earned a spot on an oceanic research expedition. As she descended beneath the waves in her scuba gear, she was overwhelmed by the beauty around her. Coral reefs stretched out like vibrant underwater gardens, teeming with life. Schools of fish moved in synchronized patterns, their colors shimmering like jewels. For the first time, Sara felt fully immersed in the world she had always dreamed of. Years later, Sara had become a leader in her field. Her research on coral reef restoration gained international recognition, and she traveled the globe, collaborating with scientists, governments, and communities. From the Great Barrier Reef to remote islands threatened by climate change, Sara worked tirelessly to protect the oceans she loved. But despite her success, Sara never forgot her roots. One summer, she returned to Seabrook to give a talk at the local school. Standing in the same auditorium where she had once faced ridicule, she spoke to a room full of young, hopeful faces. I know what it feels like to hear people say your dreams are impossible, she said. I know what it feels like to doubt yourself. But I'm here to tell you dreams are worth chasing. Believe in yourself and work hard. You might just change the world. After the talk, a young girl named Layla approached her, clutching a notebook filled with sketches. I want to be a marine biologist like you, Layla said shyly. Sara knelt down, smiling warmly. You can be anything you want to be, she said. Start where you are and don't stop dreaming. The ocean needs people like you. Sara's journey inspired countless others, creating ripples far beyond Seabrook. She mentored young scientists, championed environmental policies, and worked to ensure that the oceans would be protected for generations to come. Every time Sara returned to the sea, she felt a deep sense of gratitude. The ocean had shaped her, challenged her, and given her purpose. As she swam among coral reefs, she marveled at how far she had come and how many lives her story had touched. Sara's life proved that even the smallest beginnings could lead to extraordinary journeys. With passion, perseverance, and the courage to seize opportunities, she transformed her dream into a legacy,